Hey, y'all, for those that don't know me, I'm Coach Bro, and I'm going to be hiking the Colorado Trail. I'm leaving in about 2 weeks, actually. I start on June 30th. It's 2022 right now. And I'm actually filming this on June 10th. So, yeah, 20 days from now, I actually start hiking on the Colorado Trail. I'll be starting from Denver, going to Durango. And I plan on doing the Collegiate West route of the Colorado Trail, if you're familiar with that. Altogether, I should be hiking about 500 miles. I'm expecting to take between 5 and 6 weeks or so to get it done. Just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm doing this. First started camping with my son about 7 years ago in Colorado. We loved it up there. We'd go on little day hikes and stuff from a base camp up in the mountains, and had a really good time doing it. And, over the next few years or so, we kind of started getting more into backpacking, and we've actually done the first 3 segments of the Colorado Trail over the last few years, and it's always been a dream of mine to do the whole thing in a thru hike. And I'm 50 years old now. My original plan was to retire at about 55 and then, start doing some of those hikes like the Colorado Trail, maybe the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, things like that. I knew I wouldn't have time while I was still working because I couldn't get enough time off of work to be gone for that long. About 7 months ago, I had COVID and I had to stay home from work for a couple of weeks. Didn't have major symptoms or anything. I didn't get real sick, but did have to stay home for a couple of weeks because of it. And during that time home, I did a lot of thinking and sat down and kind of went over numbers and decided that, you know what, I can retire right now and I'll survive. I don't need to wait anymore. And I did that. I went ahead and took early retirement. And here I am at 50 years old, getting set to do one of the bucket list things of my life now, going to hike the Colorado Trail. So the interest in backpacking started with going with my son on trips, and we loved it in Colorado. My son is in the Marine Corps now, so he can't come hike with me, but I'm going to do this by myself, with the exception of about 80 miles of the trail, I think. I have a buddy that I've done a lot of hikes with, Mike. If you've seen some of the other videos on this channel, you know Mike. He's been on a few trips with me. And what the plan is he's going to meet me in Twin Lakes, which is about 170 miles or so into the hike, and hike with me from there to Salida. I think for about 80-ish miles. He'll be on trail with me for about a week. We also plan on summiting Huron Peak, which is one of the 14ers in Colorado, during that time that Mike and I are together. So the purpose of this video is really just to kind of talk about why I'm doing it. Those are my personal reasons for doing it. What I also decided is I wanted to kind of make a difference with this trip. For those of y'all that don't know me, my oldest daughter, Allison, passed away 3 years ago at the age of 21. She was a recovering drug addict. And, what kind of I wanted to do originally with this trip was to find a charity that had something to do with her or her death, and try to raise money for that. When I started doing research into charities, what I found is, most charities out there, or a lot of charities out there, do not really give all of the money that's collected for the purpose that it's stated. There's a lot of charities out there that, and I'm not saying all, but there are a lot of charities out there that take a big percentage of the money they raise and basically pay full-time employees. There are people that are CEOs of these nonprofit organizations that are making 6 figures. I didn't want my money going to something like that. So I did a lot of research and found a charity that hits close to home for me. I served 8 years in the Marine Corps, served in combat in Desert Storm. Like I said earlier, my son is a Marine. And the charity that I found is called the Semper Fi and America's Fund. It was started by Marine wives at Camp Pendleton, California. And the purpose of it is to raise money to help wounded, not just Marines, it started out as just Marines, but wounded members of any branch of the service and their families, and also the families of service members who have been killed. And they do things like buy houses. They'll get whatever is needed if there's some kind of disability. They just do a lot of good things in general to help the families and the wounded, severely wounded service members after they come home. So in addition to me just having a good time hiking 500 miles through the Rocky Mountains, I'm also doing this hike as a fundraiser for the Simplified Americas Fund. And what I'm going to do is, in the comments of this video, I'm going to put a link to the Facebook fundraiser page, or whatever you call it. I'm not real high tech, but I do have a link on Facebook that goes directly to this fundraiser. Please donate whatever you can there if you can. And I think that's about it. I'm going to make a couple of more videos probably before I leave, talking more about how I've prepared for the trail and gear, resupply, that kind of stuff. But if you have any questions about specific things that you want to know, please put them in the comments, and I will try to answer those in the next couple of videos that I'll be making. Thanks a lot.